Okay, now it's showtime. Let's get into why we're here. Joe, Joe Budden. Everybody was waiting to hear what Joe was gonna say on this situation. Everybody, meaning me. I wanted to see what Joe was gonna say. I said, Joe gonna have to speak on this. This too public. Joe gonna have to come with the big guns on this one. Straight up. The Freddie Gibbs act situation. He gonna have a massive show. So what Joe did is basically have to get himself in position to do this. And what I mean by that, Joe Budden had to be covering both sides of the fence because he has a relationship with Akademiks still after the fact. Still trying to coach him from the sidelines because he still wants to work with him. Hold on. Now, like I was saying, Joe has run into a situation where there's a massive problem on the forefront. He's cool with both people, so he's got to tell this and be respectful. But he did give you guys a great tidbit so that you guys would understand something. Okay? What Joe hit you guys with was something that was essential. And the first essential thing Joe hit you with was the fact that Joe, Joe Budden, that's right, Jiggy Jiggy Joe. What Joe did was brought up the fact that Ack is sitting here poking fun and talking about somebody in numbers when he supports someone who has fake numbers. When he discussed, he's like, now you know, you've told me about people with fake numbers and how the fake number game worked. Now here's somebody, Takashi, who's associated with Akademiks with fake numbers. But Joe didn't go any deeper because he didn't want to do that. He just said you're associated with someone who's having fake numbers, who's being called out for having fake numbers. Now, it's obvious his numbers was fake from the very beginning. I tried to tell you guys that, but no one would listen. So now that Joe Budden is saying it, then maybe it's you guys will take, heed into checking that. But not only is he associated with a person like that, he's partially responsible. Remember when Akademiks made those stupid rap songs he was making? And they was like, oh, Ak making a ton of money because he's on the Billboard charts. He was using fake numbers to get on the Billboard charts. All of it was fake. The majority of it was. That's why he fell so fast. Because really, no one knows him besides at that time. Nobody really was paying any attention to him. And for his song to just chart, and nah. Plus, it was all crap anyway, just stuff he threw out there. Trying to tell people it's hot and thinking it's going to be hot because he said it. This type of narrative has been toxic in the environment when it comes to, as far as saying, man, we need to have this done or we need to have that done. It's toxic behavior. So for me, Joe was given a very great narrative talking about Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs is trying to get the attention to the world because he has great music. He has great content. He has some great songs. A lot of it's not going to translate over into pop. It's just not. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the songs were great. And he did a great job on the songs. Now, the new narrative is, what does Akademiks want to get out of this? If you go down a numbers train, how many of Akademiks' numbers are real? If Tekashi numbers isn't real, that's something that should have been brought to the forefront. Now, Akademiks said some real gangster things and talked really bold about somebody, but he always say, I'm not a goon, I'm not a gangster. If you're not a goon, you're not a gangster, then don't talk like one. Don't try to talk like you want action or talk tough just because you're on the internet. Because now you go against the narrative of saying, I'm just a blogger. You've crossed that line. So, from that perspective, he's already put himself in danger. I mean, I shouldn't even have to harp on it, but there are people out there who are highly vested into Akademiks that he doesn't know about. But I'm quite sure he's aware of.
Hey man, somebody send this message to DJ Akademiks before it's too late. Cause recently, bro, I've been noticing that you've been talking real street for somebody who not a street nigga. You get what I'm saying? Like, you be talking all street to these street niggas, but then you go around saying how you not a street nigga. Not to mention, you hanging around a nigga who told on a bunch of street niggas. You know what I'm saying? So, you playing a dangerous game, bro. And then you poking your chest out and shitting on people. And people ain't gonna like that shit. People don't like that. And I don't know if you really noticing this shit, bro. But a lot of people are getting really quiet when it comes to you and your boyfriend. I'm not talking about the Meek Mills and the Freddie Gibbs and the Futures of the world. I'm talking about real street niggas, bro. They not even talking about y'all. They not mentioning nothing you guys have to say. They not talking about no music, no street shit, no beef, no nothing. They just real quiet about you and your boyfriend. And I'm gonna give you a heads up of why they're so quiet. Because they're done talking. Bro, they've been talking to you since the war in Chirac. Niggas been talking about you since you. And fuck this shit. You want to talk about money, bro? Like, and this for like, and you got a street following, bro. You not a street following, but you got people who don't have millions of dollars like you. So like, you shitting on Freddie Gibbs, but you really shitting on your fan base too, nigga. Cause look, we ain't no motherfucking millionaires either. But all I'm saying is this: you might have millions, bro, but you literally got that money off the backs of dead black teenagers, bro. Like, seriously.
And listen, that man brought up a very serious point, and shouts out to him, because that man, I think his name Mr. Chris Barnes, he brought out a very interesting point. People are getting very silent on him. And he did make that money off Warren Chirac, which he tries to clarify he did not. That was not the foundation of his success, which he's trying to erase his history. See, people love to go back and try to recreate their history and say, oh no, it was the Meek Mill. That's what really blew me up. The battle with Meek. That's what really put me on. No, bruh. Nah, you can't change history, bruh. They ain't gonna let you. Everybody tries to change and rewrite history. But we all know the truth. And the fact that you still have the series up, still raking in profits from that series, shows that you have no remorse. You don't have any feelings about that. Talking about what you gonna do. I'm gonna set up a charity and give money back. Talking about what he gonna do. Why haven't you done it? Talking about I only made 120,000. Well, fork over that 120,000 back to the city of Chicago. But you said you're gonna do that and then some. When? Do it. Cause you've done a lot more damage. Your videos have done a lot more damage and could have escalated beefs between people in the streets. You made your career off a city that you've never been in, never visited, never stepped into, and tried to capitalize off of. Then, when some Chicago rappers want to get some pub and they use you and tell you you're good, bruh, you ain't good. Tell you that now. Don't ever fall for that. And don't keep talking about the Henny is in me and all that stuff that's retarded. Nobody's going for that behavior no more. I'm trying to tell you, man, it's a very different world. Okay, people are talking about defunding cops. You're gonna have to pay for security 24/7 all the way around. Are you ready for that? Because if you're not, they got a lot of people out here that are very eager and very ready to put you where they think you should be. You understand? Not much props and pub they would get for treating you as such. Don't be that guy. If you're not that guy, don't be that guy, Act. And for Joe, I understand you got a relationship with Act and everything else, but don't let it hurt your credentials of who you really are. You know what I'm saying? Don't be that guy either, Joe. Whenever, because I can't respect you if you can't be 100. You know what I'm saying? We can't respect you on the podcast if you ain't gonna be 100 and you still trying to, protect relationships. Oh, I gotta protect my relationships. But yet you can go in on somebody you don't know or never had a conversation with. So, I get it. I've always, I always make sure I cover my bases. Always make sure I do things in a respectful format. Unless I've been disrespected and I feel like, okay, now I gotta put the foot down and, let people know what it is. Well, for certain people, the narratives change. And when the narratives change, you want to make sure that even though the narrative changed, the respect is there. Because when people lose that respect, they ain't gonna honor you no more. And you got this guy, Chris Barnes, and he's just one. There's many of other Chris Barnes who have listened to you and who has definitely heard you. You got street dudes that listen to you. You've never been in a situation like that. You've never been in no hood story type stuff. That especially the stuff that I've talked about. I've been in these situations, been around these situations, been around real serious human beings. You know, I'm not saying you gotta be that person, Act. I'm just saying you're not that person. It's cool to not be that person, but tread lightly. There's a respect level. There's a line I don't cross because I know I ain't no goony goon goon. You know, if something happened and I gotta turn into one, I have the potential, but no. I've been around those dudes. And some they got a temper switch. And they try to isolate themselves from the world because they know they can't function in regular life. They try to deal with things with calm, be around a small group because they know. They get around a bunch of people who don't know them and they get to playing, something gonna happen. So, these guys have done more time in prison than they've done out on the streets in real life. Most of them, they can't breathe out here. They want to go back in. Joe know those people. He grew up around them. A lot of them probably not around him no more, but he knows better. So you won't see him do that because he's going to make sure he keep a couple of them happy. You know, as far as you, well, it's a little different. They're going to be all over you like a coat. Well, hey, people got to do what they got to do. You know, well, what my video just premiered. That's what's up. Hey, late notification is better than no notification. All right, and and I'm tired of these people saying oh um he was drunk. What that got to do with it? He better stop drinking because his drinking gonna get him. There ain't nobody finna say, oh no, chill out. Ack was just drunk. You think the streets is gonna say Ack was drunk? He was just drunk. Well then he better go to AA. You see, Complex then took him for what is like a 2 day leave. So he do 2 episodes off the show, and then the show do the same numbers. Guess what they gonna tell Mr. Demix? They gonna say, hey, Mr. Demix, can you come in here, please? Close the door behind you. Oh yeah. You saw my apology video? Yeah, I'm really sorry. They gonna be, we get it, Mr. Demix. Um, we've been looking at the numbers, and yeah, the 2 days you were out, we did just about the same. Yeah, I was thinking you come in on Saturday. That's my day off. Yeah. Was thinking maybe you can move your things down a little lower into the basement because we're going to need new space in here. And we want to we're kind of redecorating the scene a little bit. So we kind of want to move your things like way down the hall. Yeah, gonna need you to do that for me. Okay, good talk. And he's gonna get pushed. Mr. Demix is gonna get pushed off the. You're gonna get an email, fax, or whatever. Yeah, Mr. Demix. Um, You've been a wonder here, and we want to thank you for your years of service as part of the family, but we're gonna move in a different direction. Yeah, that's gonna be the next results. So anyway, I'm out. Y'all, y'all hit up my cash out, which is Carcino. You can at any time. My Patreon is Carcino for life. You can imagine what's over there right now. It's been everything. I can't even lie to you. It's been pretty incredible. I went back reading stuff that we was doing, and we got some other stuff that's going to kick off today. Somebody said we got to do some more poll challenges. We're gonna do a poll. We're gonna do a poll. Do a poll challenge something today, so you can see where people rank and where people's minds are. Some of the stuff I might bring to the YouTube format, but for the Patreons, they get to see it first. So, love, peace, and hair grease. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe. Deuces. Oh, yeah, it's 4 videos up here. Check them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll remember that one.